हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू बैक यूट्यूब एजुकेशन चैनल। आज हम पढ़ने वाले हैं क्लास 6 इंग्लिश चैप्टर नंबर 9 डेजर्ट एनिमल का पोयम व्हाट इफ पार्ट 4। क्वेश्चन नंबर 1, सिलेक्ट द मोस्ट एप्रोप्रिएट ऑप्शन एज आंसर। व्हाट इफ occurred to the poet while he was lying in his bed thinking at night? The phrase pranced and partied means started dancing. In fact, what if are the poet, both A and B, flights of imagination, B, wild guesses. 4 number, the poem What If is written by Sal Silverstein. What would have they done of the swimming pool? C, closed it. The poet thinks suppose his cup is filled with poison. What according to the poet may happen to his kite? Get turned by wind. 8th number, the poet would not like if his teeth do not grow straight. Question number 2, true or false? The poet heard some what if in his ear. True. The poet imagines if he is deaf in his school. False. The poet imagines if he performs badly in his test. False. The poem What If is the poet's nightmare. False. The poet is afraid if he has green hair on his chest. True. The poet hates the idea that his parents take divorce. True. The poet is greatly interested in learning dance. False. Answer the following question in one sentence each. Number 1. What would the poet not like to be in school? The poet would not like to be dumped in school. What is the poet fear for his head? The poet feared that if his head would start getting smaller. What does the poet mean by everything seems swell? The poet means everything seems bigger or thicker in his what if. What kind of the poet nature revealed in the poem What If? The poem What If nature in the poem What If tensed and worried. 5th number, pick out 2 activities from the poem What If that are directly connected with school. If the poem gets beat up or goes dumb in school. 6th number, what fear goes the poet have regarding his pet fish? The poet fears that his pet fish won't bite. 7th number, what does the poet think about dance? The poet thinks about dance that if he never learns to dance. 8th number, what is the last thing that the poet is worried about in the poem What If? The last thing that the poet is worried about in the poem is that again at the night time of What If strikes him again. List out the things the poet is worried about. The poet is worried about if he have watched them in school, if anyone have closed the swimming pool, and if he get beat up. 2nd number, why does the poet call the What If song the same old song? The poet called the What If song the same old song because if he sings the same old song. 3rd number, the poet is constantly worried about danger to his life. Pick out example from the poem What If. If the poet gets beat up, if there is a poison in his cup, and if he gets sick and die. Is the poet worried about facing embarrassing situations in public. Give an example from the poem showing this kind of fear. If the poet fails in the test, if his parents get divorced, and if his bus is late. What does the poem What If convey? The poem What If convey that at night time the poet's mind is filled with fear and it's something dangerous to or the people around time. Are the what if dream of the poet? If not, what are they? No, what if are not the dreams of the poet? They are the night thinking of the poet. Pick out any two lines from the stanza that show the poet's fear of physical injuries. What if I get beat up? What if a bolt of lightning strikes me? Third number, what is the worry of the poet that he anticipates which may be incurred by people in general? The poet is worried about death at night while he lays thinking some what if crawled inside his ear. What fear does the poet have with respect to his parents? The poet fears that if his parents get divorced. What if they start a war? Whom does they refer to? They refer to it a war may start between his parents. What fear does the poet have regarding his teeth? The poet's teeth should not grow in straight. इसी के साथ आपका ये चैप्टर फिनिश होता है. अगर आपको हमारा वीडियो अच्छा लगे तो लाइक सब्सक्राइब एंड शेयर कीजिए. मिलते हैं अगले वीडियो में. जय जवाहर.